Hey kids, and welcome to the second official episode of Nerd Alert on Fuzzy Loaf, where we talk about uh, nerd stuff and whatever we want. First, we run through the news and let's,
Yeah.
and then
I think it was San Diego Comic-Con was the first week. We had
San
a
Diego.
2-week
Yeah, we've been off
hiatus.
for a
Yeah.
while. Okay, so let's just get into it. What do you want to talk about first that happened? I got a few things.
Let's talk about the Fantastic Four embargo, the review embargo,
Yeah,
because I know that's going to be a big
that's
topic.
been on my mind this week. So, if you haven't heard the story, the new Fantastic Four movie coming out next week on August 7th there's always embargoes for reviews for movies. You know, when they can, critics can release their reviews. And for the Fantastic Four, the studio Fox has set so the embargo wasn't supposed to originally end for online until the day before the movie came out, and then for print the day of the movie release, which is a sure sign that the studio has no faith in the movie.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, like I said, I played devil's advocate when we talked about this before. It could also mean that something really big happens in the movie that's maybe integral to the review, like whether or not people liked the movie, that they don't want revealed early. But it's more likely that it's
a stinker. And they don't want the reviews to hurt the opening weekend box
and maybe
office.
it's not a terrible movie, but they don't have faith in it.
See, for a big movie like this too, is if it, you know, if they for a big movie like this, what you would want to do is release the reviews ahead of time to build hype for the movie. But if they're saying no reviews until the day of release, then they are basically saying,
Yeah.
like it's bad.
I'm just trying to think of anything that could be a secret that they don't want out. Like, I'm trying to think, have we confirmed that Victor Von Doom is who he actually is in the comics? Or could it be like like a curveball and it's somebody else in the movie?
I just don't think it's like that much of a curveball.
Well, and that's just what I'm trying to think of, because otherwise, yeah, the movie is going to be bad.
Yeah, they probably just don't want that rotten score before the movie gets released. And then I forgot what I was gonna say about the movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
and
want
it
it to be good so bad.
Same with me. Especially because we did hear from Bryan Singer that they have been talking about a Fantastic Four and X-Men crossover, which I want to see, not because I think it's going to be good, but because I'm thinking, how the fuck is that even possible?
Well, X-Men and Fantastic Four only cross over like a little bit.
Yeah.
Another thing is, oh man, I forgot what I was gonna say. I got sidetracked. But I'm just drawing a total blank on what I was gonna say about the movie.
Yeah, I don't know. It could also be something like Josh Trank's overall direction. Like maybe
we heard
they're
about
getting
all the rumors and all the bad press. But I remember what I was gonna say now is, if this, I talked about it before with you throughout the week. Do you think if the movie does bad, they might give the rights back to Marvel?
I think they won't, because Fox is in a great place with the X-Men, and I think Fox, the last thing they want to do is give any rights back to Marvel. I think Fox and Marvel kind of have a rivalry.
You don't think they'd just give up on Fantastic Four and
No,
maybe
I
they
don't
just
think
quit
so.
making Fantastic Four movies and let the rights relapse?
I don't, unless Marvel gave them some massive amounts of money, I don't think they would let it part. Just because...
So, say this movie sucks, and they quit making Fantastic Four for another... the last Fantastic Four movie came out in 2009.
I think it's like a 5-year...
5 years.
Before production.
So say they let this one, and they don't bother making another Fantastic Four movie, and then... do you think they're just going to wait, and then like when 2020 comes around, they're like, okay, we're going to make another Fantastic Four movie?
Yeah, probably. Unfortunately. I mean, that's the...
You think after 3 strikes... It should be like 3 strikes, you're out.
Well, I mean, they paid for the rights, and it's up to them to keep the rights, to keep them from lapsing. And Fox, I think, is one of the companies that would just keep making stinker after stinker, just because they have so much money. Fox is, you know what I mean? It's their movie division is
They
huge.
have a lot of good movies.
Yeah.
I will say, I loved the X-Men movies.
Yeah, I liked I honestly didn't like the first 3 X-Men movies
at all. Not
yeah,
not
I
even
liked
1 or 2.
I liked 1 and 2 when they originally came out. I was like, man, these are really cool superhero
Yeah, I
movies.
did.
And then
They're
everything
kinda
else,
dated now.
yeah, and then everything else came out superhero stuff, and I was like, man, these movies are
But
bad.
it seems like they're on the right direction now with X-Men.
Yeah.
After Days of Future Past. But I think Matthew Vaughn should get a lot of credit for that, for
Yeah.
for basically steering them back into that course with First Class.
Yeah, and I think they just picked a bad director for this movie for Fantastic Four. I mean, nothing against Josh Trank. I saw Chronicle and I actually liked it.
I hated it.
I liked it, but not because of the found footage. I don't like found footage stuff.
I'm one
but
of
I
the
thought
only
the,
people that hated it. If it
the
wasn't
story-
found footage, I probably would have liked it. a
yeah,
lot
the story.
better.
I thought like the idea was cool, but I think what it is with this movie is I just think it's the overall direction. So the original 2 movies I think was just really bad direction. I don't think it was necessarily bad casting or anything like that. I just think it was. I think people blame it on the actors a lot more than they blame it on the director. The director is the one that
No, it's
makes
true.
sure like it's supposed to get the good performance out of an
that is
actor
for sure.
and actress.
Yeah.
So it's like I just think they haven't had somebody that has an intimate knowledge of Fantastic Four and how it could work in the cinematic universe. I don't even know if Marvel would know how to make Fantastic Four work
I don't know if they would either.
because Fantastic Four is goofy and weird and
It's like pulp science fiction.
Yeah, I
That's
mean,
what
it's
they
like
they go to alien worlds and they deal with celestial beings and
I mean, it's
alien
a
races. They
it's
go
a
to
bit
alternate
like
dimensions
it's a
and
bit
stuff.
like Star Trek, where
Yeah.
it's more about exploration and understanding than it is about like action necessarily.
That's definitely a good
and
comparison.
we've seen this with what is his fucking name now? Director of this Star Trek movies.
J.J. Abrams.
J.J. Abrams. Sorry, I blanked. We've seen it with J.J. Abrams. We see a lot of people that see those movies and they get upset because it's not like Star Trek. It's action. It's more like Star Wars.
But that's how you have to sell the movie.
Yeah, and
That's the thing with
that's the
Fantastic
unfortunate
Four.
thing is I don't think Fantastic Four really works in like a cinematic
The
way.
movie.
Yeah,
sphere.
because if you do it right, it's not going to be appealing to a lot of people.
No.
And I think that's what it ultimately comes down to, is we get like comic book fans especially get disappointed with these movies because they just are like they don't work. Like it's like they don't understand these characters.
Yeah.
And then we just get the same stories. Like
Fantastic Four is definitely a product of the 60s.
Yeah.
And that 60s pulp sci-fi, which, I mean, I don't know. Maybe if they embraced that a little more in the movies, maybe set the movie in a different timeline, like the X-Men movies have been doing.
Yeah.
So maybe Fantastic Four takes place in the 60s.
Yeah.
And then it becomes like, you could make it this like 60s pulp style movie, like The Incredibles, the best Fantastic Four movie ever made.
Yeah, I mean, it needs to be, like, kind of campy, you know. It like they keep with this one, they're making it so dark that it's like this isn't really what the Fantastic Four is.
There's a line between campy and like realistic that you can,
Yeah,
blur a little bit and keep like the Flash.
yeah,
It's campy when it should be, and it's not campy when it shouldn't.
yeah, and yeah. That's a good example because it's like the first 2 movies, they weren't campy. They were just like bad. Like they had bad humor. They didn't have
Bad
great writing.
jokes, yeah.
Yeah, and the direction wasn't
Plot
great.
didn't make much sense.
But then this movie, it's trying so hard to be the dark, gritty
the
superhero
opposite.
movie that it's like, I think you're missing the point of what the Fantastic Four are. You know?
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And I think that's also the whole thing of like making them darker and realistic and whatever is giving less credit to the audience. Because look at the Flash. When we saw the Flash show, where everyone was like, "Oh, this is just not going to be
and
good."
it's one of the
And
highest
now it's
rated.
one of the highest rated, and everyone
Yeah.
loves it. And I think people and the thing with the Flash too is they don't pull any punches on being weird and out there. They're like,
Well, yeah.
there's a time hole, opening up over the city. Well, we
Yeah,
gotta deal
and
with it.
We got
and
weird
they
villains
don't-
that normal people didn't like. I know a lot of people that got into the Flash that aren't big superhero fans or aren't
Yeah.
superhero movie watchers or aren't watching Arrow or Gotham or any of those other shows, but they watch the Flash and they enjoy it. And that show has some of the weirdest out of left field villains that even DC fans, most of them probably
There's
haven't heard
characters
of.
that combine into one person and then they have superpowers.
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to be like, okay, we don't. Some things are a little weird, and then the audience can go with it.
I think that's
and
just,
they will accept that.
Yeah, I think that's just it.
Are.
Like you said, they can't pull the punches, and that's what it is. Is with the Flash, I don't think they do. They're not like holding anybody's hands or like this is here's this weird here's this weird villain that has these strange powers like the freaking bug. I forget what the name of her was. The
Bug-eyed bandit.
Bug-eyed bandit. Yeah.
Controls like robotic bees or whatever.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like Ant-Man.
Kinda. Or Captain Cold. This dude wears a parka and carries a gun that freezes things, and he's always making like cold puns.
They didn't do Captain Boomerang in this, did they?
An Arrow?
Yeah.
Or he was actually on Arrow instead of Flash.
Oh, he was on Arrow. Yeah. Okay, because I was gonna say that's another
Captain
one.
Boomerang. Yeah, they actually used him.
Yeah, the Flash has some of the weird. Like, I love his rogues gallery because unlike most other like heroes, I know we're getting off topic now, but
it's still kind of.
But like they do such a good job of they're these weird like villains that would never exist. You would never see this happen in a Marvel universe where the bad guy is a fucking guy that throws a boomerang.
Right. Or Mirror Master. He travels through mirrors.
Yeah, but it's so cool. And it's like, and I think that's the other, bringing back to Fantastic Four, that's the issue that we have, is we have Victor Von Doom. He's a great villain.
He's probably the best, honestly, the best villain in the DC, in the Marvel universe.
It's like it's like the Green Goblin or whatever in Spider-Man, where we just keep getting it over and over again. And it's like, we get it. He's a great villain. Use somebody else. Tell a different story. I don't want to hear the same story.
Any villain can be a great villain if you write it right.
Yeah.
That's my belief.
But
I don't think that, because Marvel has a problem with their villains. It's clearly a thing. And it's not because they don't have the rights to certain characters. It's because they're just not written well. You could turn any villain, any character, into a complicated villain. Look at the Kingpin.
Yeah, aside from Loki and Thanos, every villain in a Marvel movie dies at the end of the movie.
Yeah. Except for Abomination. He didn't die in Hulk.
Well, I guess it's true, but I don't count that because I don't think I've ever seen that movie.
It's good. I like it.
I'm sure
it's fun.
It is.
It's canon.
Yeah.
Kingpin didn't die at the end of Daredevil.
Yeah.
But that's not a movie.
Yeah, it's not a movie. But, I think he is the best villain that we've had in a Marvel property.
Kingpin?
Yeah.
And it's on TV.
Yeah.
I'm really excited.
I mean, I really like Loki, but I think Kingpin was better than
David Tennant's Purple Man and Jessica Jones.
I think they're starting to get it down. They're starting to understand it because I thought Yellow Jacket was actually good. I know a lot of people complain about him.
He definitely had some problems. He was basically just crazy.
Well, yeah, and I didn't like that they tried to explain it like, oh, it's because you're by the
just
chemicals.
Make him a bad dude, being like,
yeah, what it is he's psychotic. He wanted Hank Pym's approval, and Hank Pym, pushed him away.
Yeah, he's got daddy issues.
Yep.
They should have maybe explored that a little more.
Yeah.
I'm sure they cut a bunch of stuff out. But anyway, yeah. The Fantastic Four, back on topic with the Fantastic Four, they could...
Never on topic.
They could sell it. I just think they don't give enough credit to the audience, where if you could have some wacky, crazy space adventures, and people could be down for it. They'd be like, what's this crazy sci-fi? There's like a guy's made of rocks, and one turns invisible, and one goes out, catches fire, and they travel to other dimensions and stuff.
And I think
that could be so cool.
We're getting the origin story again, and it's being told in a slightly different way. And it's like, do we need the origin story again? Could we have started out with them being together already?
Yeah, you just see them as a
Victor
family.
Von Doom already being established, and maybe
he's already
maybe
like
we
the
get
ruler
mention of him
Latveria.
maybe we get mention of him like you see something on TV or on a newspaper, like they acknowledge that Victor Von Doom is very much alive and a thing, but they're dealing with some other thing,
right?
Some other cosmic issue.
And then maybe they have
an
encounter with him.
Yeah.
Later on.
But I think that's the thing that Marvel, like the MCU, is coming to realizations is that we don't
just throw these characters into it. We don't need to.
Like, it'll work. Like with Black Panther, and you know what I mean. Like the characters that are coming up.
Right. Spider-Man. They don't need to redo a Spider-Man origin again.
They're
just gonna throw them.
Yeah, I really hope that. Like I know that they keep saying that it's not an origin story, but I hope there's not even like flashbacks to being bit by the spider, because like we know this story. We've been told so many times in the last 10 years.
Everyone who's alive in America knows.
Yeah, even if you don't like comic books, you know Spider-Man's origin story.
Yeah, exactly. If I went to my mom, she would probably know how Spider-Man got
Yeah.
to became Spider-Man.
And she would probably know that his name is Peter Parker, which is why I think they should move on.
From Peter Parker?
Yeah, from Peter Parker.
I think they will eventually.
Yeah,
Spider-Man's a property you could keep going in movies forever. I say you tell Peter's story, and then like at the end, have him die a heroic death. And then in the next movie with Miles Morales, you show like I could see in like the trailers or whatever at the beginning of the movie, people like talking about memorials for Peter Parker because after he dies in Ultimate, he his identity is revealed and he's credited as a hero to all.
Yeah.
And they show that like TV clips of that and stuff, and J. Jonah Jameson talking about it, and then you see like Miles now he's taking up.
I would even love to see what they're doing with All New, All Different, where maybe Peter Parker is kind of he's more of a worldwide hero instead of just New York, and he's rich. He has Parker Industries. And he is, he's like the benefactor. I would love to see that even.
Miles is like...
Yeah, and you pass on the torch. Because I think the great thing about Spider-Man, which it always drives me nuts because they keep going back to Peter Parker, is it's not who's under the mask. It's like Zorro or like anything else. It's like it's a mask, and the person could be anybody.
Uh-huh.
And that's what makes it great. And it's like...
Man, I gave you 2 topics for wanting to do for part of the show today.
We can do the other one.
Do you want to do Spider-Man?
Yeah, we can do... Yeah, we can...
We'll get to Spider-Man later then after we get through the rest of the new stuff.
Okay, so we have the Batman v Superman.
You want to talk about Batman v Superman and then talk about Gambit last?
Yep.
All right, so I got the article up here on my phone.
Okay.
So if you don't know, this week, Empire Magazine released an issue all about Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, with interviews with Zack Snyder and all that crap. And reading the article and all the different points about the new movies actually made me really excited for the new Batman v Superman movies and the new Justice League.
I'm excited but wary. Like I keep saying.
Oh yeah, because
I
still did not like Man of Steel.
Yeah, I get it. I feel like it's retconned. I feel like they had a different idea going forward. You're fine. No big deal. They had a different idea going forwards, and then from the responses of people, that's when they changed. Like Man of Steel, everybody's response when they first came out of the movie was, this isn't Superman. He destroyed so much, and like he devastated so many people's lives. Like something needs to happen. And then they were like, oh, that's a good idea for us to bring in Batman.
But it's not. I don't really fault them for being like, oh yeah, we did do a lot of damage. Well, let's play off of that.
No, and I don't. I think they did the right thing. I think
that's actually pretty smart.
They did the right thing because otherwise, like, they gave a reason for Batman to be upset with Superman. You know what I mean? They gave a reason for conflict between the two of them.
Honestly, in that trailer, how cool is that scene where Zod's laser blasts cut through the building? He's like, no.
Yeah.
And then another argument I hear about all the another point I hear about all of the destruction in Man of Steel is he's not Superman yet.
Yeah, I guess
he's
that's true.
He's just learning who he really is.
Yeah, he doesn't have full control of his powers.
He hasn't developed his mantra or his motto or whatever, and his code of ethics or whatever. He's still in training. But all these points, I'm gonna run through these, and then let's just say what we think. Zack Snyder and his producer wife Deborah and producer Charles Roven are overseeing the DC Extended Universe, which is actually the new title they're calling. Marvel's got the Marvel Cinematic Universe. DC has the DCEU, the DC Extended Universe. I like that better than DCCU.
Yeah.
DCEU.
Yeah.
What do you think about them being like the overseers?
Not a fan of Zack Snyder overseeing any of that stuff because I think Zack Snyder makes cool Zack Snyder films. I don't think he makes good any other films.
I agree with that point.
Like,
I did love Watchmen,
but
his style to me fit Watchmen very well.
Yeah, I was going to say, I think he was made to direct Watchmen and not necessarily Superman. You know what I mean?
No, he's very good at sticking true to comics. But for movies, do we want to stick that true to comics? Well, sometimes, I guess in some aspects.
Well, if they would have stuck more true for Man of Steel, it probably...
Yeah, that's true. He didn't stick for it. It was really dark. I hated it. Here's a points from on BatmanNews.com. They've listed all the points.
Yeah.
And I'm just reading off here. Number 2, Zack Snyder has a whiteboard in his office with the entire DCEU sketched out.
Cool.
At least, but what this tells us is, they actually do have a plan, apparently. Because we thought they didn't have a plan. Really, we thought they were just kind of like throwing sticky balls at the wall and seeing what worked.
Well, with the amount of money that they invest, I knew that they had a plan, but I don't know. I'm weary. Just because you have a plan doesn't mean it's a good plan.
That's a good point. That's a really good point. Because I've had many plans in my life, and a lot of them are not good. Number 3 is Wonder Woman begins filming this fall in London.
Yeah, and we did get this week that Chris Pine is Scott Trevor.
Steve Trevor.
Scott,
I think that's a good role for him. That's bad. I'd rather see him than Green Lantern.
I think he could make a good Green Lantern, though. I think he
could.
I think he would have done better.
Just picture Captain Kirk with a green suit and a ring.
Yeah. I have a risen taste bud. I bit it.
That's a pain in the ass.
Sorry.
Anyway, Wonder Woman filming this fall.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
Justice League begins filming in the spring of 2016. So next spring.
I'll be interested. That'll be before we see Batman v Superman.
Yeah, they're gonna start filming, so they'll have to announce who's playing all these characters.
Yeah. And did we get announced all the characters that are going to be in Justice League? Do we know?
Not really. We know Batman, Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah. Do we know
Flash,
that Green Lantern is?
Aquaman. We don't know.
Okay.
What they're doing for Green Lantern.
They said Green Lantern Corps, which means we're getting more than one Green Lantern. So I wonder.
Green Lantern's the only Justice League member who they have not cast yet.
Yeah. Or they haven't announced who they cast.
That's true too. I think they're still.
And man,
working on
Tyrese Gibson just will not stop.
Tyrese, you're so funny in the Fast and the Furious movies, but God, dude, I don't really want to see you as Green Lantern. Not that I don't like Tyrese, I do. I just don't think that role of Jon Stewart, the grizzled straight man, like, all right, let's, Jon Stewart to me is like, he's the straight man to like Hal Jordan's, like, let's little more headstrong or whatever.
Yeah.
Or, if you put Guy Gardner and Jon Stewart, Guy Gardner's the dumb, rowdy asshole, and Jon Stewart's like the no-nonsense, like, and that's what I liked about Jon Stewart.
Yeah.
But I don't think that's Tyrese. I'm just, unfortunately. Pre-production for Justice League has already begun.
Believable.
Yeah, obviously. Ben Affleck picked out his own Bruce Wayne hairstyle for the movie, despite Deborah Snyder not being a fan of it initially.
It's hair. Who the fuck cares? As long as they do,
it's hair. Who the fuck?
I mean, I guess I shouldn't say
it
that
doesn't
because
look bad.
I shouldn't say that because Jesse Eisenberg's hair so far is like, what the fuck?
I'm still not a fan of the Jesse Eisenberg casting. I hope I like it.
It's one of those. He could make a brilliant
Lex Luthor. He could.
I'm worried that.
I just want to see Lex Luthor in the power suit someday.
Yeah,
that purple and green.
That'd be fucking sweet.
Yeah. Number 7, Ben Affleck wears a wig in the movie for his Bruce Wayne hairstyle.
Why?
I don't know.
Okay.
Just maybe his hair goes a different way than they wanted it to. In the movie, Batman is 45 or 46, according to Zack Snyder.
Okay.
He's older.
Middle age.
I always thought that's weird for this new DCEU where you have a young Superman who's just starting out, and then you have really old Batman, because it's like because it's never been the case before.
Yeah.
They're always the same age.
Or roughly.
Yeah, pretty close.
Enough.
Maybe Batman's a couple years older, which is just so weird to me, because the whole thing with at the end of The Dark Knight Returns, him fighting Superman is because they've been friends for so many years. They know each other.
Yeah.
And this is like the final confrontation. This is them just meeting for the first time.
Yeah. I don't know. It could work this way. Like we said that they set it up pretty well with all the destruction and stuff.
Point number 9 is Batman has already met the Joker, Harley Quinn, and the rest of the Suicide Squad, and he is the reason they're all in prison.
I think we kind of knew that because isn't Suicide Squad taking place before Batman v Superman?
We don't.
Between,
I don't. No, it's after Superman.
After Superman, but before Batman v Superman is what I thought they had said. I thought it was pre.
Maybe, It's unclear.
Okay.
That's
I
kind
guess
of cool.
maybe
That is kind of one. I don't know. I like the linear structure of the Marvel universe, but for DC, I'm kind of okay with
the
them
jumping
going around. Yeah,
Yeah.
it doesn't really matter that much to me.
I think Marvel could do it really well. I would love to see
Marvel could do it,
a
too.
Hank Pym Ant-Man movie would
That'd
be
be
dope.
cool. I wish we could just get Michael Douglas like de-aged somehow.
They did it really well
God
in this
damn,
one
they did.
in the one scene. Yeah.
You can't do a whole movie like that.
That'd be so expensive.
Number 10, Batman carries a machine gun at one point in the movie.
That sounds
This I don't like.
Yeah.
Because Batman never uses a gun.
Yeah.
Ever.
That kind of defeats
He
the
used a
purpose
gun
of-
once, and it wasn't even a real gun. He used one gun on Darkseid. He used a gun, and it was like not a real gun. It was like a time travel gun. This is really strange. Sorry, my phone. I pressed the wrong button on my phone, and the article went away. Number 11. Batman lives in the lake house that Snyder and company call the Glass House. Wayne Manor still stands, but has been abandoned.
Okay, so that explains the shot where we see Alfred. I forget Jeremy Irons.
Yep.
We see him walking towards what looks like a burned down and derelict Wayne Manor, but
Yeah.
that makes sense then.
Yeah, lake house, and
Yeah.
the Bat Cave underground with all the. That's why you see all the water and stuff
Yeah.
in the cave, which makes sense. Number 12, Clark Kent and Lois Lane live together in an apartment.
Okay.
It's fine.
Cool beans.
Yeah, whatever.
Yeah.
I like Amy Adams, but not as
She
Lois
didn't.
Lane.
Yeah, and
She wasn't very Lois Lane to me.
I don't know if it was her fault. Like I said, it might have just been bad direction.
Yeah, to me, and the writing too.
Well, yeah, they
to me,
just
the
didn't make the
best
character.
Lois Lane is Lois Lane from the Smallville series.
And see, I never
Erica
watched
Durance.
Smallville. I
She
need
is,
to, but
she is the best portrayal of Lois Lane in character, like just and style, everything.
yeah.
Moving on, number 13, a Detroit museum was used to film scenes at Lex Luthor's house.
Cool.
I guess it just means it's gonna have an extravagant,
Yeah,
crazy
there's gonna
house.
be weird stuff. Yeah.
14, Deborah Snyder cried when Gal Gadot first stepped onto the set as Wonder Woman. What do you think of that?
I think I'm not a big fan of her costume actually.
I kind of like it.
Superman. I wish it was more vibrant. I wish the
the
costume.
colors are
yeah,
more.
I wish they.
I do too.
Didn't do.
I do
kind
kind of like the battle skirt kind of thing, but
Yeah,
I mean,
the battle skirt looks fine.
I also like Wonder Woman with pants.
The
as
battle
long
skirt-
as she's not wearing
I was
the
gonna say,
goddamn
the-
like leotard.
Yeah, the battle skirt looks
I'm
way better
fine.
than the leotard.
I would prefer Wonder Woman with pants, but at least it's not the leotard.
Yeah.
The battle skirt works for me.
Is she gonna have the invisible jet?
No,
Okay.
they kind of taking that out. Wonder Woman can fly on her own.
I know. That's why I always
She
thought it was
doesn't need
dumb.
she doesn't need the jet. She can fly.
And then like the jet's invisible, but she's not. It's like, then what's the point of flying in the invisible jet?
Goddamn Super Friends.
Yeah,
have
sorry.
Ruined everyone's perception of Justice League characters. 15. 5 actresses auditioned for the role of Wonder Woman opposite Ben Affleck, but it was Gal Gadot who blew everyone in the room away. What do you think about that one? Because that, to me, I hear a lot of stories of her not being a strong actress, because I haven't seen her in anything.
I don't think I've seen her in anything.
She's
either,
been
but-
in a few things, but everything I've heard people say she's not good in.
Well,
But I mean, did she get better?
maybe she just has chemistry with Ben Affleck. Maybe that's why.
Maybe that's why.
Jennifer Garner and Ben Affleck got the
Yeah, I don't
splitsies.
think so.
No, supposedly it's because it's drinking and gambling problems.
Let's not get into that on
Allegedly.
this show.
Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it, but
I,
that's
I
what,
love
yeah.
you, Ben. It's fine.
Hey man, you make a lot of money and you're good at what you do, so do
Hey,
what you need.
Whatever. 16. Wonder Woman's role in Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice is key to shifting the story towards Justice League. Now, I mean, I would imagine so.
Yeah, I wish. I feel like this movie is gonna have to be way too long to fit everything in.
I'm
wish.
fine with a 3-hour Batman v Superman movie.
Yeah, I just wish they would have set it up as Batman v Superman, and the very last thing we get is like maybe Gal Gadot is in the movie as Diana Price, but
Prince.
Whatever.
Yeah, it's
close. Prince. But then at the very end, we see her suit up as Wonder Woman, and and then you get the title or the end tag, like, more coming with, whatever.
Yeah, like in Marvel, like Ant-Man will return.
Yeah, because I just feel like there's gonna be too much.
But I think this.
aren't we getting Aquaman in this as well?
I think he's gonna be in there for like just a little bit.
Yeah, and maybe that's his thing. Is at the very end of the movie, like we get the fucking trident coming up on land.
Could be. But I think what this kind of means here is Wonder Woman will basically be like, Batman and Superman will be fighting. She'll be like, boys, stop.
Yeah.
We're all cool here. Let's
Or maybe
be chill.
maybe the reason why she comes into the picture is she knows that something bigger is going on. Like there's
And
a bigger
she's there
bad,
to,
and
like,
she's like, "Hey, you guys
direct
need
their
to
attention
yeah,
to
you guys
this.
need to cut your little
whatever
schoolyard
Lex
fight."
is doing
yeah.
or whatever. 17. It was Zack Snyder's idea to put Batman in his follow-up movie to Man of Steel. Well, I mean, yeah, they're gonna put Batman in anything. 'Cause
Yeah, Batman is
DC's just throw him wherever and people because people just
it's like
love
Spider-Man,
Batman.
like
I get more like Iron Man is like
but I mean like everybody knows who Batman is. Everybody knows who Spider-Man is.
everybody knows
Everybody.
everybody.
So you put him in a movie, people are gonna probably see him.
Oh, Batman, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of sad that they threw Batman in there in the second movie, but it's like, well, I mean, whatever. Get it going. 18. Zack Snyder admits that Christopher Nolan was taken aback when he told him he wanted to reinterpret Batman alongside Superman, but he's fully supportive now.
Yeah. That sounds like PR bullshit to me. I'm sure
Yeah,
Christopher
it's
Nolan.
trying to be like, hey, Chris Nolan, the guy who made all those Batman films you really like, he's totally on board.
I'm
with
sure
this.
Christopher Nolan was probably like, "Good for you, man. Like I'm doing other shit. Like I just
Yeah.
made Interstellar." So
Yeah, that's like James Cameron and the Terminator Genesis.
yeah, it's like cool.
Whatever. How much money did you get paid to say that?
Yeah. Okay, so
So overall, we're pretty pumped for.
I'm excited from what I saw, but I'm still weary just
Hesitant.
because it's DC. and they
Yeah,
haven't
you're
proven
excited,
themselves.
but your expectations aren't.
Yeah, and that'll probably make the movie better for me
Yeah.
if my expectations aren't through the roof, and then
As long as they add some goddamn color to this movie.
yeah,
Which-
I don't think they will. It looks like it's
Fucking
pretty dark still.
sepia tone
Yeah.
bullshit. You want to do one more story? Do you want to do the Gambit? Do we have time for that before we get into our topic of discussion?
Depends on how long because we got like 14 minutes.
Yeah. Do you want to skip the Channing Tatum? Crap?
Yeah, we'll
Yeah, if you
mention
don't
it very
know, Channing
briefly.
Tatum said he might not be or someone close to the production or whatever talked to the Jeff Snyder at the Wrap and said that Tatum might be out of Gambit or whatever, which Matt and I are both on consensus. We're just like, we don't care.
I would rather them put that.
I'd rather just them cancel that movie.
Well, and I'd
because
rather
it doesn't happen.
have them put whatever they didn't already spend of the 150 million towards something else.
Right.
Make
$150 million Gambit movie is fucking dumb.
Make the fucking Deadpool and Wolverine movie crossover movie that fucking Ryan Reynolds is
X
all about.
Factor movie with Cable
That'd be
and
sweet.
Deadpool and other people that are in X Factor that I don't know because I don't know X
look at
Factor that well.
how much did they make, or are they making Deadpool for?
Half of that.
Yeah, it was like 60 million or something like
60,
that.
I think it's 60 million, maybe a little, maybe even
Hold
less.
on to the money that you didn't spend. Wait to see how good Deadpool does, then put the rest of the money towards the sequel.
Plus, who likes Gambit? Do you like Gambit? If you do, let us know because I don't give a shit about Gambit.
It's not even that. It's like
And I was born in the 90s.
he's not a big enough character. Like X-Men, this is my issue with
He's
X-Men.
not.
Besides like Wolverine and very few characters, they don't have like villains or they don't have like these fleshed out stories. They have stories that work enough when they're put
they
together.
do.
But they work when they're
but when they're
together.
on their
But when
own.
they're on their own, it's like
Wolverine's really the only one that works on his own.
yeah.
Really. Everyone else it's a group effort.
Yeah, because it's like, okay, Gambit, like I was raised in the South, whatever, and it's like, okay, cool, that's
I
25
throw cards that explode.
That's 25 seconds worth of story. How are you going to flesh out who are you going to fight?
No,
What's
Gambit
gonna
would
be
work better part of a team when you have Rogue alongside him because of their dynamic.
Yeah.
It's like Gambit by himself would just be dumb. We don't need a $150 Gambit movie. We don't need a Gambit movie at all. If you want a Gambit movie, let us know who you are because I don't give a shit about it.
Yeah.
So
and it, like I said, I think them bringing in Channing Tatum was a bad idea. I think Taylor Kitsch was a good Gambit, and that was the right amount
he's
of Gambit
fine.
to be
I
in the
don't
movie.
like Taylor Kitsch in this new season of True Detective. He's not very.
Oh, I haven't caught up yet.
No,
So.
this whole new season is just like, man.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. It's
I'm gonna
kinda-
watch it tonight with my friends because they want me to, but I'm like,
Okay.
Okay,
Final topic.
That's it for the news.
Yeah.
We're going to move into a new segment called Scott's Thoughts, where each week I bring up a random topic related to some comic book nerd crap and present it to who's ever here, and then we talk about it for a little bit.
Yep.
So, since you're talking about Spider-Man, we were going to talk about something else, but I want to do the Spider-Man one. I suggested, I already know Matt's opinion on this, but I want to talk more in detail, that with the new Secret Wars and the all-new, all-different Marvel relaunch, that they should have made Spider-Man, or brought his marriage to Mary Jane back with the new relaunch. Because right now I'm reading Amazing Spider-Man Renew Your Vows, part of the Secret Wars tie-ins, and it shows Spider-Man, and he's married, and he has his kid, and I really like seeing that the married dad Peter Parker. I really like that character a lot. I think it's really time that we let Spider-Man grow up. We've seen him as a kid, we're getting him as a teenager again. He's been around for over 50 years. Let's see him be an adult. Let's see him move on to these other phases in his life. And I think that could be really interesting in the comics now, especially since we have Miles Morales joining the mainstream universe, who will be that young Spider-Man character, doing the street level teenage stuff. Let's let Spider-Man have his wife and family. I think he's deserved it, and I think we can get some really good stories out of that.
My only issue with this is knowing how Peter Parker is going to be in the all-new, all-different Avenger, or like the all-new, all-different Marvel thing.
Where he's supposed to be basically how Iron Man is.
He's like a philanthropist.
He's a globe-trotting hero.
I don't think that works with a marriage. I think if they decided to go a different character,
don't go in that direction of him as a globe-trotting hero.
Yeah, but
they missed an opportunity. I'm saying that they missed an opportunity, and they should have made it so his marriage was returned.
I think they're doing this because this makes sense instead of Iron Man. They're basically making Peter Parker the new Iron Man.
But why? Why not just have Iron Man be Iron Man?
Because they're trying to change things up. They wanted to change up two characters by basically swapping them.
See, but I just think you could get much. I want to see him grow more.
Yeah.
And see him with that family, and you could get interesting stories of that.
Yeah, I just don't know how that works with a superhero. Like, we see this in movies all the time. Relationships don't work with like superheroes or like even cops in shows and stuff like that because they're put in danger so much, and the family worries about them. And then also it becomes like this trite situation where they have so much to lose, and the villain finds out their identity and then gets their wife and their kid, and then it's like, I need to stop being a superhero because of my family and stuff like that.
Well, I think it could focus maybe more on less of his being the super heroics, and more on him just trying to live his life and protect his family now.
Yeah.
Like, I want to see Peter Parker he's gone through so much in the past 50 years. I think as a character or as like a person, kind of deserves to have this. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Sorry, just 1 second.
Yeah. So I mean, you haven't read the Renew Your Vows, have you?
No, I haven't.
And I think you should, because reading it, what is going on is, so he's got his daughter and he's got his wife Mary Jane, and what happened was it starts off with him going to protect them from Venom.
Yeah.
And he can't go help the Avengers fight this new threat, right? And since he wasn't there to help the Avengers, the villain basically won and has captured all of them and absorbed their powers, and now he rules, and like superheroes are hunted, and it's basically just Spider-Man trying to like live a low profile and just live his life and keep, and
yeah, and like
family.
That sounds really interesting, but I just don't think it fits in with their vision of all new, all different, where Peter Parker takes a backseat. We have these younger heroes and like these outside heroes kind of coming into being the Avengers, and they're all just getting started out basically, aside from like Vision, right? And Falcon, I guess.
And Falcon. Captain America.
Captain Falcon. Yeah. But I just think he works better in this scenario as like maybe the like behind the scenes tech person, like he, creates their tech, or like he's their benefactor.
Maybe he could do that with his wife and kids.
Yeah, but then he wouldn't
I want to see him more like the mentor to Miles. He's like, I got
Yeah,
my family now.
I would be cool with
You're
that.
kind of
I
taking
wish
over the reins. I support you, dude.
maybe they're going to do that. Maybe he is kind of a mentor. Maybe he's a mentor to all of them.
I really hope that maybe because I just like Peter Parker being with Mary Jane.
I
don't like him not.
I just think, like I always say, it's just more of the same. Like Peter Parker's with Mary Jane for so much of the comics. They're like, he's with her and then she's dead and then she's alive and then they're not together and then he's with Gwen Stacy and then she's dead, and it's like we just keep getting these same stories.
Well, he's been with Mary Jane in the comics for just those two consecutively for a long time until they dissolved their marriage in the One More Day.
Yeah.
BS.
I don't know. Like, I don't really care about their marriage, to be brutally honest. Like,
as a big Spider-Man fan, I do.
Yeah. I think I'm more interested in more stories about Miles than I am about more stories about Peter, regardless.
That's how I am too. Honestly,
Yeah.
when the all new all different Marvel relaunches, Spider-Man is my most anticipated title.
Yeah, and it's like I've been reading the Thor issues, like with Lady Thor, or whatever you want to call her, Jane Foster. She makes a much more interesting Thor than Odin's son ever did.
Thor? Really?
Yeah,
That's
at least
cool.
in my opinion.
I never really liked Thor. I thought he was just kind of like whatever.
It's one of those things where we've seen it for so long. Like, it's been 50 years.
Right,
We've had
and
these
I'm fully supportive
We've
of
had
that
these
change.
exact same characters and stuff, and it's like I like that they're branching out and telling these different stories.
Okay, see, now that's my point with the whole Spider-Man being married thing, is that, right, we had Spider-Man married for a while.
Yeah.
And then because they dissolved that marriage because they wanted to go back to him being the single, webhead that he was before. And I'm just like, well, like you said, we're getting the same rehash stories. I want to see more different.
Yeah.
Maybe add a daughter into the mix. I just want to see Spider-Man doing that.
Yeah, like I said, I think they're trying to change things up, and the way that they did it was they made Spider-Man Iron Man, and they made Iron Man something different. And that's unfortunate because you're right, they could have told these very interesting stories, but I think we're going to end up seeing a kind of stale Peter Parker again because it's going to just be Iron Man retold.
Yeah.
So I mean, I agree with you. I see where they're coming from, but I also don't think this new version of Spider-Man is going to work very well because it's going to seem familiar,
Yeah.
It's going to be like, I feel like these storylines are the same.
I just never pictured Spider-Man as a globe-trotting hero. You know what I mean?
I would be much more interested in Peter Parker retiring as Spider-Man, like, altogether, and maybe taking on like a Nick Fury kind of role, where like,
or just like a mentor role to.
Miles. But I mean, or like maybe like an old Captain America, or like an old why can't I think of his name now? Steve Rogers, where like he's like leading the team and like whatever, but he's less of an involved in the fighting, but like,
or like
more.
I just thought of like, what if he becomes more like Bruce Wayne in Batman Beyond?
Yeah.
To like Miles is like his Terry. But he's not really old. He's like helping him out, showing him the ropes. And then in the meantime, while he's helping Miles, he's got to deal with his family or whatever. And, because people, I mean, he's still secret that he was Spider-Man. People don't know that. But he's still probably got to deal with crap happening and stuff like that.
Yeah. I don't know. It could be interesting. But I don't know. Maybe this version of Spider-Man or this version of Peter Parker will be interesting. I guess we'll just kind of have to wait to see. But I get where you're coming from.
Yeah.
I know why they did this.
Why they did what they did. Exactly. I do too.
Yeah.
It's just, I would rather it be this way instead of that way, but that's just me being picky.
Yeah.
Which is...
And like I said,
is nerd stuff.
And I just don't care about the Mary Jane character. I just feel like she is the typical damsel in distress kind of character.
I don't know. Have you read a lot of...
I haven't read more recent Spider-Man, but I mean, I've read older Spider-Man, and that's the character that she had been for so long.
She doesn't really seem like that to me, like now.
Yeah. And maybe she's
they
changed.
Were or not divorced before the marriage never happened, I guess. But anyway, I guess that's it for today.
Mm-hmm.
We're kind of on a tight schedule, so we can't go into a whole lot.
Yeah.
More.
Plus, it's probably been like 40, 50 minutes.
Perfect.
Yeah. So if you would like to follow us on the interwebs, where would you go to find you?
Follow me on Twitter and Instagram at ScottyBoy, SCOTT BWO 4 Ys. And
you can
are...
follow me on the interwebs at Hagnerd, Hagnerd. You can follow Fuzzy Loaf at Fuzzy Loaf on Twitter. You can subscribe to us on the YouTubes.
We're on iTunes now, too.
Yep.
We've got podcasts on iTunes.
Yeah, so search Nerd Alert. You'll see one that looks similar to our thumbnail. And then
that's
you can
pretty
subscribe
cool.
to us. We're shooting for weekly. It should be up Monday early morning, if not.
The audio
if not
podcast.
tonight, yeah.
Cool.
Just depending on how much time I have today.
Next week, we're going to try to get someone else to come on the show.
Yep.
And we're going to play a game where we create our own Avengers teams.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess if you guys want to do that, listen to what it is.
Geek History Lesson.
Yeah, and I can't remember what one it is. I want to say it's like
Episode 60 something.
Yeah, 63. I want to say
they're named on you can find them on Stitcher.
But
they created their own Avengers team.
Yeah.
Did you listen to it?
Yep, I did. I listened to the whole thing. So what they did is they have like archetypes that the characters have to fit, and I think there's like 8 specific ones, and then you can have extra ones if you wanted.
I added an extra to mine.
Yeah, and the idea is to kind of, at least the way I did it is I thought really uniquely and I thought of like kind of a storyline, which is why I'm excited to tell mine.
Mine I've labeled it the Impossible Avengers because there's no storyline and there's no way this team would ever happen.
Yeah, mine is the Outlaw Avengers.
Ooh.
I will.
So yeah, if you want to play along, do it. Check out Geek History Lesson.
And then also our guest next week, if he's available, he has a YouTube channel. It's Free Range Nerd. So search that.
Yeah.
See his other stuff. He's good comic.
We're gonna get him in on
stuff.
the Avengers game too. So.
Yeah. All right.
All right. Smell you later, guys.